It's relentless day in, day out. It's not good for the kids, it's not good for me, and it's not good for her. I've tried sitting her down and discussing things calmly, and it simply doesn't work. She gets really mad when criticized, and what ticks me off is that she says I can't take criticism myself, even though anyone who knows me understands that it's one of my stronger traits. I've also tried to blame myself, so to speak, by switching the focus from her to me. For example, is there anything I can do to help you, or whatever, and it's met with me being called a pussy and or her not being honest. She's always looking for me to fail, but never actually acknowledges anything good. When I do the dishes, she hovers around me waiting for me to miss a bit, and when she spots it she throws the dish in the sink, soaks me, and demands I do it again. She will then go on a tirade about how I'm utterly useless and that she will do them next time. Next time eventually comes around and she will complain that I'm not doing the dishes. If I happen to find a bot that she's missed, however, I'd better keep my mouth firmly shut. She will move furniture around daily, it's one of her things, this is fine. If she gets comfort from doing that then great, but she moves my daughter's room around a lot too, which really upsets her, and she's basically told to grow up. She's 13, and I believe a child's bedroom should be their sanctuary, a place of stability in all the chaos they experience. My wife says this is psychobabble. But in regards to furniture moving, she will start when the youngest comes home from school or bed time, so I have to take over, that's fine, but if I have to use the bathroom at any point, well, that must be me shirking my responsibilities to the kids. At least that's her view. I hate her so much, she makes me miserable. The sex is atrocious. She says she only gets turned on when she thinks of guys, and when I say that's bullshit and don't want any part in it, she gets angry at my rejection. But I'm not allowed to show any form of emotion regarding it when I'm rejected, and I fucking hate myself for even finding her attractive. She will push and push and push, and 9 out of 10 times I'm as calm as a Hindu cow, but when I do explode she's there with a shit-eating grin like she's won. Then I feel ashamed and guilty, and thus the cycle begins again. She's just fucking horrible to be around. Tells I don't do fuck all with her, yet anything I suggest she shoots it down. She's always tell me I should have been taller, more athletic, richer, more well-endowed, etc., but when I try and teach her a lesson and discuss her weight, or vaginal tightness, she hits the fucking roof like how dare I even consider it. I'm not trying to be petty, nor do I care about her vaginal tightness. I'm trying to get her to understand how these things hurt / how fruitless it is. It's just relentless. I get up before her every day, have done for over a decade, except on the days I'm ill, and boy, woe betide me if I get ill. I once had pharyngitis, I had a high fever, my throat was literally bleeding, laryngeal spasms where I couldn't breathe and whatnot, and I was still made to take the kids to school. I still got it in the neck about how I do anything to get out of doing stuff for the kids. She had an affair a few years ago now, and stupidly I fell for the sunk cost fallacy and forgave her, and truly I have forgiven her for it. It's the one and only time she has said sorry, and it was more physical than emotional. She's genuinely not normally that way inclined, and I trust her in that regard now, and I know that may subconsciously make her not respect me, but this behavior of hers isn't new, in hindsight. But even though I've forgiven her for that, I struggle to forgive her lack of insight about herself. I'm just rambling. I can't leave this place due to a financial agreement with my mother, who owns the property we live in. UK law gives custody to mothers almost automatically, or joint custody, but why should I be a part-time dad? I don't want that, and the kids don't want it either. I can't remove her from the property. Plus we would be financially crippled as separate entities.
Should I let go or not?
Okay, so I had to. Oh boy, that's a lot. Okay, so we're kind of experiencing somewhat of the same thing here in America, where the women primarily end up with the kids. Only 18% of men actually get their kids in a separation in the United States, even though men have been statistically proven to be better um, upbringers of children. The The issue that you have here is that ultimately she's unhappy. She wants change. She's not vocalizing it, and she's not projecting that very well. She's very upset. She's probably got a large level of depression going on there because she's not happy with the kind of life that she has. She's projecting that onto you. Nothing that anyone does is going to satisfy her because what she wants, she can't have, and she's not saying what she wants. Um, while therapy can kind of help with some things, the need for change and the inability to get that change is not necessarily something that therapy can do much about outside of helping you cope with the situation that you're in. It's not necessarily psychobabble, but I do believe that if she's not willing to cooperate with the need for resolution inside of the relationship, resolution inside of the marriage, and you're not willing to part ways with her, then you would have to essentially put yourself into therapy. And if you wanted to put the kids into therapy and do family therapy without her. Now, the reason why I say doing it without her is because she is her own person. She has her own autonomy, and you do not have to force her to go to the therapy. But if the whole family is going to therapy and she's staying at the house, rearranging the house, the least that you can accomplish with that type of solution is that everyone else can adapt to mom's behavior. You are clearly frustrated. So a lot of these things that you're talking about is, remember, 20 years in the making. So you can put, I think you just spent like 10 minutes on the show just going over 20 years worth of stuff. And out of that timeline, you have pointed out some little things like you still have feelings for your wife, you're still attracted to your wife. You don't know why, but you still are. And while she has stepped outside of the marriage at least once, you have not admitted to stepping outside of the marriage at all. But you have pointed out a couple concerns. For example, uh, you're renting the place from your mother. You're not necessarily 100% independent. You do have um, a level of codependency to your mom. If you wanted to make a change while living on mom's property, because mom has control over mom's property, you risk losing your house. Because if your mom isn't satisfied with the decision that you make, there are parents that use their financial control as leverage to dictate what you do as an adult. So you don't have as much authority as a man to make the type of decisions that a single man would make or that a married man would make when he does not have to get consent from his landlord to make household decisions inside of his house. So that's an issue. Uh, Not really something that necessarily needs to be changed, but I can see where there's some frustration there. Now, there is some toxicity in the relationship because she demasculates you when you have an opinion, and she cuts you down when you don't perform the way she wants you to perform. But you guys do have a breakdown of communication. That is holistically the issue. There are things that you want her to change, and she's not recognizing that and not willing to perform those changes. And there are things that she wants you to change, and you are not getting clarification from her as to what those changes are. And then you are not expressing uh, to her satisfaction the level of change that she would need to be satisfied. Now, this is going to take a lot of to doing. You said you got one that's like 13, which is 8 more years. You want to stay in the children's lives as a full time parent. And that is hard to do because you would now have to commit to the emotional toxicity of this relationship until for 8 more years until the children are grown. Um, you're allegedly doing this for the sake of the kids. Well, actually, it's more selfishly because as a man, you want to be a father to your kids, and you're willing to do whatever it takes to get there, and I respect that. But the problem is that is this type of behavior what you want your children to see? Now, I understand it in the UK. Um, they typically put the children with the mother in a divorce, but you don't necessarily have to get a divorce. This is one of those situations where the alternative would be to you're going to have to talk to your mother about this. Uh, get a separation. That's what you need to do. You would need to let her stay in mom's house. And I know that, like you said, this is going to be financially strenuous, but you and the kids take a vacation, get another apartment, something to that effect, go live somewhere else. Um, the equivalent of go stay with mom rent free kind of thing will be the equivalent of, hey mom, can I like go somewhere else and you not charge my wife rent for a reasonable period of time so that I can work out my marriage kind of situation. Like try to get like 6 months apart and then go find you a landlord that'll sublet an apartment to you for like 3 to 6 months. Give you some time apart. Y'all have been together for 20 years. Okay. So the benefit, which is one of the reasons why I told you that, having your mom as your landlord probably isn't that good of a thing to identify yourself as a masculine man. But at the same time, you do have that benefit because now you can talk to your mom and say, hey, look, the marriage is rough right now. And the only thing stopping divorce is my willpower, and my willpower is fading. So can you help me out with my marriage and let my wife stay in the house rent free? Me and the kids are going to go somewhere else for a while. We're going to take some time apart. And after that break that we get, then we'll try to come back to the house and see how the marriage can work. Because you are not throwing your wife out, you're not putting an extra financial burden on your wife, you're trying to work on your marriage, you're trying to make sure that you take the responsibility for the kids. Because if you and the kids leave and you give mom 3 months to herself, 6 months to herself, she might change. She might change because one, she's never had a break. Two, she's never had any change. And three, she is unhappy about something that she's not talking to you about. So if you try that, while therapy isn't everything, if you gave her some time to herself where she doesn't have to cook for anybody, she doesn't have to clean up behind anybody, she doesn't have to do anything other than focus on calming down, focus on getting herself together, focus on like being ready for the family to be a family again. And then, y'all come back. You might not need 3 months. She might only need a couple of weeks. She might only need to be in the house by herself for a week or two, 3 weeks. And then she realized that, she does not want to lose this family, which is what would have happened in a divorce. And, she'll start trying to figure out ways to communicate better, because really the stipulation that you would give her when you guys leave is like, look, I just want to give you a break and let you, recuperate yourself. So me and the kids are going to go over here and, they'll come visit and stuff to that effect, but it's just going to be just you here. Right. So she has no other responsibilities but herself. And that's like the best thing that a family could do is give mom a break. Then make it one of your stipulations that upon our return, we're going to start doing family therapy. Straight up. So whenever she's ready for us to come back, I'm going to start scheduling appointments with a therapist, and all of us are going to go to therapists like everybody else goes to church. That's how we're going to do it. And She may not agree to it, but odds are, if she wants to keep this family together, at least for the remaining 8 years of your youngest child's life, then she's gonna flex on something. She's gonna compromise somewhere. Because the only other thing from what I heard from that very long rant that you gave me was divorce. Um, it is not hopeless until you have tried everything. And everything includes, in the divorce process, 12 months of separation and family therapy before the divorce goes. So I'm not saying do 12 months of separation. I'm saying like 2, 3 months of separation. Give her like a long break, because the first few weeks she's going to be enthusiastic that she doesn't have to deal with you anymore. And we're just gonna be honest, y'all have been around each other for 20 years. So the first like month, she might go nuts and just like do all the wilding out that she wasn't able to do when she had to cater to you and the kids on a regular basis. So, give her that vacation and then see if that improves the situation. If it doesn't work, she's still not willing to do the therapy. There's nothing else there. The only thing you got left is divorce. So if you're not willing to divorce her, like I told you earlier, your best bet would be to put yourself and the kids into therapy so that y'all can cope with the fact that you're not willing to leave the toxicity that is in the household. So that's a very tough situation to be in. Um, but yeah, when you met her, you loved her and you wanted to be with her. You started a family with her. You got multiple kids with her. And this is a choice that you made 20 years ago. You can't kick yourself now because of the outcome, because that's a career. 20 years is a career. You don't know what your marriage is going to be like 20 years later. You just hope that it's going to be good. It turns out to not be. You just got to deal with it. But people change every 5 to 10 years. People are different, and you have to understand that as their personalities evolve through the marriage, you're supposed to evolve with them. They don't always turn into something that you like. But give your wife a break. Give her a vacation, like a month, 2 months, 3 months, something like that. Give her a vacation where she don't got to deal with you or the kids for a while. You take the kids and make them your full responsibility. Everything they need, you take care of that so that mom can focus on herself. And if that doesn't work, bro, she ain't got nothing left but divorce. Um, because everybody else would either say, stick it out, ignore it, focus on yourself, focus on your kids, just deal with it, or just outright divorce. But, you know, nobody ever says, give her a break. Because if she's been in the thick of it for 20 years, when has she taken time off outside of the affair? You know, so yeah, that's all I got for you for that one. Let's check on the next one. That was a pretty deep one.
There's this girl I like. The only girl I've ever liked actually. She always claims she's too tired to hang out, yet she always hangs out with friends, and I'm pretty sure she sells herself for drugs. I've liked
Oh
her for
boy.
years, and that last bit made me sick to realize. She had reached out after we went no contact and we went on a date. Yet now everything is just like it was before, only texting me once every other day, going to random hotels while ignoring me, yet when I try to leave she insists she loves me dearly, but I can't believe it anymore. Yet every time I work up the courage to leave, my gut tells me to stay, before I throw away the only chance I have at love. Should I just leave, or should I trust her a little longer?
Okay, so I think you're wording that in an extreme fashion because she might use drugs and don't pay for them and sleep with her dealer. And when you put that together with the right wording, she's selling herself for drugs. But if she's involved with drugs and you're not that kind of person, and she sleeps around with people that uses drugs, and she's not sleeping with you, but she claims that she loves you, you have a problem. Plain and simple. If she's sleeping around with other people, she can't be that in love with you. Um, Women don't operate like men. Likewise, uh, I'm trying my best not to be insulting with this one, bro, because What guy who loves his girl is driving her to hotels for her to hook up with dudes? Straight up. That's no woman can make me believe that that's a masculine thing for a man to do. That doesn't show confidence in yourself. It shows that you're allowing yourself to be used by the other person, because while she knows that whatever it is that you're hoping to build with her um, is put on the back burner, she is not respecting that, and instead she is getting involved with other people in random hotels. Then when you decide that you don't want to do that anymore, then she tries to convince you by pulling on your heartstrings to stay in the fold. Um, you don't want to leave the hotel because subconsciously you know that what she's doing is dangerous, and she could end up going into that hotel and not coming back out alive. So you don't want to leave the situation. But a smart man would not stay in that situation at all. A smart man would first uh, not go get her, let her figure that out on her own. If she's going to be driving to different hotels and making that her thing, then that's something that she's going to do on her own choice, that you're not going to contribute to that. Again, though, if you're in the friend zone, you've already professed your feelings to her. She's using that as an excuse to get you to stay in this engagement with her, because it's an unhealthy relationship that y'all have. Um, then she knows that she could have a better situation. Well, I can't say better, different situation. But she chooses against that situation, because instead of giving you that chance and making certain changes in her life, even if she has to pay her dealer instead of sleeping with these guys, the fact is that she's choosing to stay in the type of lifestyle that she had before she found out how you felt. And that choice indicates, bro, that you are supposed to move on. Secondly, I always tell you, because we fall for the physical before we get the emotional, then we end up with an emotional sometimes before we actually get a chance to benefit from the physical. Then at some point, because we're already emotionally involved, the lust is there, everything to that effect. She might be a very beautiful girl. We're hooked like a fish out of water, and then we find out there's a red flag there. But we're so blinded by the emotional, coupled with the lust for the lack of physical, that we ignore those red flags. Because, I mean, you can fall for a porn star, you can fall for an OnlyFans goer, but the fact is that what they do for an occupation is not what the average man would consider a healthy relationship. Um, yeah, so my best efforts to you, because this is new. You're a young buck. This is the first person you've ever fallen for, and one of the things that a lot of people do, both men and women, is they allow themselves to stay in an unhealthy relationship because they don't believe that there will be another one ever in their life, and that's not true. You can fall in love over 150 times in a lifetime. And even with our current 80 to 90-year life expectancies, that's still 3 to 4 people a year on average, which is the reason why you can be married and have an affair at the same time. Uh, so there will be another person. If this is the first person, it is definitely not the last. So I strongly encourage you to prioritize yourself in this particular dynamic, and move on from this particular relationship, because I don't believe this is good for you. And I don't believe that she is interested in changing anytime soon. So it is not going to benefit you to linger in a scenario that you don't feel comfortable with. And if the roles were reversed and a dude was hooking up with chicks, even if there wasn't drugs involved. The dude was hooking up with chicks on a regular basis, but the female was there. She's already professed her love for him, and he acknowledged that, but he is not taking action on that, and he's continuously hooking up with other chicks at the hotel while the girl was driving him there. I would give her the exact same advice. He's not planning on changing. He has acknowledged your feelings, but not taking action on them, and it is not in your best interest to stay in a relationship where you're not getting the reciprocal attention that you deserve. Um, yeah. So let's jump into the next one. Whew. Y'all got some deep.
I lost my temper in front of my girlfriend. I am ashamed of myself. We are both 26 years old. I am embarrassed. I feel like so much less of a man. My girlfriend is my rock, my best friend, and ever since she has come into my life has done nothing but got better. On Christmas Eve I was cooking dinner. I planned this day for weeks as I wanted it to be so special. All of a sudden I walked into my bedroom, where my washer and dryer is, and my bedroom had flooded from the washer. We both jumped up and started cleaning up the water. I keep a lot of things under my bed, including some guitars. Everything was soaked. I ran outside to grab a mop and threw my shoes down at the ground, hard I will admit, to put them on, and shouted, "Tonight out of all nights." When we were done cleaning I went to put the mop in the bucket and missed the bucket. I threw the mop at the floor out of frustration. My girlfriend told me I scared her after things settled. Especially throwing the mop. Hearing those words broke my heart. Her feeling safe is the utmost important thing to me. I have not had an outburst like this since I was a kid and would throw my toys. I have never had a temper as an adult. We talked, she still spent the night, and I'm spending the night at hers tonight, but I can't get her voice saying I scared her out of my head. I'm not sure why I'm posting this here. I'm curious for others' advice, I suppose. Men, woman, doesn't matter. How would you come back from this? Everything seems normal in our relationship after this, but I keep feeling like I need to continuously apologize. Would you give me a second chance?
Well, everybody gets mad, dude. Everybody gets frustrated. It is normal to be mad, and it is normal to be frustrated, but society dictates that men aren't supposed to have feelings. So when a man expresses a feeling, it's socially acceptable for men to express anger, but the underlining issue is that you have a lot of pent up frustration, some sadness, some depression that's going on that could be completely unrelated to this particular situation. Uh, because it's not like the washer and dryer broke; it just overflowed for some reason. Water all over the place. I thought you were pissed off about the guitars for a moment there, but it seems like you thought that this was supposed to be a really special night. You had a lot of anxiety pent up there. You were hoping for nothing bad to, but hoping that nothing bad would happen is that's not plausible in the average plan. The harder you plan for something, the more likely something's not going to go the way you expected it to go, and that's going to piss you off because you had this whole thing mapped out. You had like the more intricate the details were that you had mapped out, the more pissed off you're going to be that things aren't going according to plan. Look at it like this: things didn't go well, and she backed you up. Most men don't have that. Most men would do anything in their life to find a kind of woman that would back that play, that when things go south, instead of her cursing you out and treating you bad, that she just jumped in and backed your play. So be grateful for that. Then um, recognize the fact that even though you did get mad, you threw the mop. She got scared at the fact that you threw the mop. It didn't hit her. You weren't throwing it in her direction, but you have to recognize that you have a lot more pent up frustration than you thought, and you're probably going to have to vent that somewhere else. That's going to mean, if you need to take a boxing class or go talk to a therapist or, vent that somewhere else, you need to release that somewhere else, because suppressing your frustrations from everywhere else in life, whether it's work, whether it's social interactions, whatever's going on, pinning that up and then coming home and having the most insignificant thing happen that is outside of what you thought life was supposed to be will cause you to blow up at home. This is called misdirected rage. She didn't have to cause it, but because she was there, she experienced it. Now, what women need to understand is that if that would have happened and the guy would have been home alone, everything he did, he still would have done. It's just that she wouldn't have known about it. He would have had to tell her about it. Like, while you were gone, the washer and dryer overflowed. It got all over the floor. It got all the guitars wet. I was throwing shoes and mops. I was so pissed off. I'm so glad you wasn't here to see that, because it would have happened anyway. That moment really pissed you off. If you regret lashing out in her presence, don't apologize continuously after the first time. Because yeah, you apologize the first time because you wasn't expecting to lash out in front of her. You wasn't expecting to startle her the way you did. And because it wasn't intentional, you're going to do your best not to perform in that manner again. However, getting mad in front of people, especially when you live with them, is normal. It is healthy. Expressing your feelings is healthy. You are not a machine. So your goal is to not project that directly at her. And then your other goal is to communicate more about your frustrations. It's not going to stop you from getting mad at her presence, because all it takes is for some jackass on the road to cut you off and start being a dick in traffic, and you're going to be pissed off in the car. All it takes is for the person at the restaurant to mistreat you while you're trying to place your order, and you're going to have an anger management situation at the restaurant. The person at the grocery store taking too long to decide what item they're taking out of their cart because they can't afford everything in their shopping cart. The register's going down right before you get there. Somebody trying to pay in pennies, or there's always something. There's always something in life where if your partner is with you more often than they're not with you, you're gonna get pissed off at something. Don't got nothing to do with her, and she's gonna see your angry side. Okay, it's not something that you can hide from her. But the fact that she is okay with your angry side, that's what's important. The only thing you can do is reassure her that it wasn't her fault that you were mad. You were mad, and you weren't trying to scare her. And hopefully, when you get mad, that she's behind you when you're expressing your anger, so that she doesn't get caught in the crossfire of you throwing something or whatever the case may be. I would recommend that you not throw stuff, though, because you could throw something and it could ricochet, and then if it hits her, she's gonna feel like you threw it at her. So I'm gonna recommend that you don't throw stuff. But beyond that, yeah, it's not something that you bounce back from. It does not imply that you're not worthy as a human being to be in a relationship. But you do have a very good woman that's backing your play, because it is hard for a man to find someone that will not devalue them because they have feelings. So because you got one, they are rare and they do exist. And because you've got one, your best bet is to make it up by behaving better. Not buying a bunch of stuff, not apologizing all the time. Behave better. Instead of taking that money and going and spending it on lavish gifts for her, get you a therapist. Go talk to somebody. Talk to your homeboy. Save some money. Go talk to a priest. Go talk to a priest. Don't talk to your priest. Don't talk to the one that you go to church with on a regular basis. Go visit a neighboring church outside of your city. Go to confessional and talk to them. You know what I mean? Just get off of your chest, and not about this, not specifically about this. Just talk to them about what's going on in life. Life sucks. It doesn't have to suck. It could be fantastic, but there's something about life that does suck, that it's been irking your nerves, and you haven't been talking about it with your wife, and you just got to get that off your chest. And then once you get that off your chest, you'll feel like 20 pounds lighter, and you will develop a larger level of patience, so that when you do end up in situations that are frustrating, um, you have more room before you explode. You got to have somebody to talk to. Having talking to your friends is good, but talking to your friends is not always good, because as valuable of a vault your friends are is as valuable of a live grenade your friends are, because at any moment, if you hurt your friends' feelings, they will lash out on you and destroy your marriage by telling your partner all the stuff that you told them in confidence. That's how humans operate, which is why I tell you that if you're going to go to church and talk to the pastor, don't talk to your pastor. Don't talk to the one in your congregation, in your neighborhood, in your social network, because that person now has your secrets. You're putting live grenades in your path. You don't want to do that, because if you step on one, you blow yourself up. You want to go to a different location outside of your city, outside of your congregation. Go to a completely different church. If you're in a normal Catholic church, go to a Baptist church. If you're in a 7-day Adventist, go to a Catholic church. If you could go to a synagogue, for Christ's sake. Just go to a different group that is completely separate from yours and confide over there. And why do I say do that? Because even if they talk about what you said in their group, that group isn't affiliated with your group. That information will not get back to your relationship, and you will not have a negative fallout. That's why I tell you to go far away and vent. Even if you get a therapist, you want to, if you're getting a therapist for you and your partner, you want to get one that's like nearby so that you guys can get there really quick. You want to get a therapist just for yourself, you want to get one out of the area. You want to get one out of the area. That way, when you vent, your venting stays out of the area. That's how you resolve that situation. Now, some people don't think about this, but since human beings, no matter what profession they're in, human beings talk. Husbands come home and talk to their wives. Wives come home and talk to their husbands. The pastor will talk to the pastor's wife. The therapist will talk to her husband. It doesn't matter what you think, they share. Then the person that heard it does not have that vow of confidence. And the person that heard it will tell somebody they know, and that person will tell somebody they know. And if anybody in this gossip chain knows who you are, that's how it quickly gets back to either you or your partner. So the further outside of your network you go to vent to somebody else, the better it is for you. And if you make that a consistent person that you vent to, you're not just going random places and talking in the bar to people about your situation. You're going to a specific person, then that person is your vault. It's almost like having a emotional storage unit out of town. Nobody knows you've got it. Nobody knows what's there. That's the safest thing that you can do. Because if you get one in your front yard, everybody knows you got it. And every time you open it, everybody knows what's in there. See what I'm saying? It's the weirdest thing, but it's more effective. All right, let's go to the next one.
I love my wife, and I want everyone to know. Have you ever met someone for the first time in person or started talking to them for the first time, instantly clicked, and thought to yourself that this is the woman I'm going to spend the rest of my life with? Well, that was me. Let me tell the story of how me 29M and my wife 29F met back in 2020. We matched on Hinge in the fall. I never thought it would be a dating app, but I'm so happy I found her. After we matched, we video called multiple times, had tons of phone calls, and then Family the Day came where we met in person in early December of that year. This was the best day besides the day we met, but still it was a perfect day. As soon as we both arrived, we ran into each other's arms and kissed for the first time. Might sound cliche, but I swear sparks/fireworks went off in my head. I also asked her to be my girlfriend that day, which sounds crazy, but my heart just knew. She is sweet, kind-hearted, funny, and we can always be ourselves with one another and have a blast. Fast forward to now, over 5 years later, and we are married, have a dog, and bought our first house. We may have struggles, but we are strong and will be able to overcome anything that is thrown our way because of how strong we are. I love her more than words could ever describe. I know I frustrate her a lot, but I appreciate how much she cares for me and deals with my nonsense. I will always have her back no matter what, and my wife is my true love. We are about to celebrate our 2 years wedding anniversary in January, and we have a lifetime to go red heart. She's my rock in my entire world. I don't know what I'd ever do without her two hearts. I love my wife, and I want everyone to know. Have you ever met someone for the first time in person, or started talking to them for the first time, instantly clicked, and thought to yourself that this is the woman I'm going to spend the rest of my life with? Well, that was me. Let me tell the story of how me
What?
29M and my wife
Oh my
29F
goodness.
met
Hold on.
back in
We didn't go
2020.
through this one a
We
couple
matched on.
times.
Day saying, did I want to meet him?
Hold on.
I also
He killed
asked her
me.
to be my girl,
Okay, so you actually
and we are married, have a
proud of you,
dog,
buddy.
and bought our first house. We may have struggles,
He
but we are strong
wrapped
and will be
that
able
one
to
twice.
overcome anything that
All
is
right,
thrown our
so
way because of how strong we are. I love her more than words could ever
he's
describe.
very happy
I
about
know
his
I
marriage. We're
frustrate her a
gonna get into
lot,
this in
but I
just a second.
appreciate how much she cares for me and deals with my nonsense. I will always have her back no matter what, and my wife is my true love. We are about to celebrate our 2 years wedding anniversary in January,
2
and we have a
years wedding
lifetime to
anniversary.
go. She's my rock in my entire world. I don't know what I'd
So
ever do without her.
there it is. Okay. Because I was like, wait, it's going over again. I don't like reruns. All right, so you're 5 years in. Give it 15 more years and see if you feel the same way. People change, but you're doing good. You had a good first 3 years good, and then now you're 2 years into your marriage and you're doing great so far. So I'm glad for that. Uh, you are admitting to something that a lot of the other guys in tonight's show, and even some of the girls that are going to be commenting here, uh, have hinted towards, is that you guys do still have complications in your marriage. No matter how much you love each other, you do still have complications in your marriage. And as a result, because you are learning how to work through those problems, you guys still have 5 years in a positive and healthy relationship. Um, no matter what you do, no matter how much you think your relationship is allegedly perfect or great, always go back to your partner and find out from them in a conversation that has no resentment, no judgment, and no retaliation, if there is anything in the relationship right now that they can think of that could change or improve to make the other person feel happier in the marriage. Always go back and do that at least once a month, if not once a week. You know, at the first couple times you ask them that, they're going to wonder if you're feeling insecure, and you want to reassure them that you want to make sure that they feel as happy about this marriage as you do. Okay. And by telling them exactly that, they know that if you don't have any complaints, that they're doing it right. And you are trying to make sure that you're doing it right for them so that they can be as happy in this marriage as you are. This will make them proud. And if there is anything that they would like to see improve, they will bring it to your attention. And it won't be a bitter rant like the other guy he was going ham, because they value the fact that you value them. Okay. So to keep your marriage strong, to keep your marriage pushing in the right direction, while you don't have big, major, catastrophic problems in a relationship, you understand that there are some frustrations there. You understand that there's some miscommunication there. Go and reach out to your partner and be like, hey, as happy as I am in this relationship, I know that we can do better. So is there anything that you've noticed that you're not receiving, or anything in this relationship that you know that if it changed, you would be happier. Now, clearly, being in a relationship where the other person might not be tuned to proper communication, they're going to say that if you do things differently, if you behave better, if you do this and you do that, that'll make them a little bit happier. Deconstruct that into not necessarily you specifically, the task, but what objective would be accomplished if you were the one performing that objective. And then take that into consideration and try to see if your involvement in that adjustment can be made, and then try to work towards seeing an improvement with them. By doing so, no matter how good your marriage is, you can make it just a tad bit better, because if there is frustration, if there is miscommunication days, that means there are opportunities to make things a little bit better, because you're not going to have the kind of marriage that's never going to have an argument. You're not going to have the kind of marriage that you're never going to have a disagreement, that you're even in a conflict avoidant relationship where you repress how you felt in the moment and immediately deflected from conflict to prevent conflict from arising. You still felt differently about that moment, and those moments require addressing so that you don't have to feel that way. Because no matter how little the situation is, each time that you repress resentment, it builds. And the first 5 years might be fine, but the second 10 is not going to be that good. And when it's a repetitive behavior where you're repressing how you feel about the same thing frequently, that's when it really starts becoming a pet peeve. And that's when you really start getting bitter about things. And subconsciously, you will behave in certain ways that is out of character for you because of the built up resentment. Your partner doesn't know why you're behaving that way because you never said anything. And they're going to react to your reaction. You are going to recognize their reaction. You're going to take offense to it. And then you're going to react to their reaction to your reaction. And now you have a domino effect instead of proper communication. So instead of allowing those little nuanced frustrations go unchecked, definitely touch base with your partner and make sure that there's absolutely nothing else that can be done to reduce the minimalistic dissatisfaction that you guys have in a relationship. And that'll keep you guys going strong. Now let's go ahead and check the next one.
From the last message from this man, do you think I was hasty to unmatch? We had a date on the Saturday. He sent me a message on Tuesday saying did I want to meet again. I said I did and that I could do the weekend. He said okay. Hope to see you then. On the Thursday I said Saturday would be best for me as I had a concert. But did he want to meet me before for drinks? He said he was tired and couldn't make morning. I then realized concert was earlier so could meet after for drinks. So I asked if he was able to do that instead. He replied 4 hours later and half hour after the concert had ended to say, let's arrange another time. Hope the concert was good. And I haven't heard from him since. I saw he had updated his photo on Tinder and took the fact he hasn't been in touch since Saturday, 3 days, as that he is not interested. My question is, why didn't he just say that? From past experience I have had men say, I will text you tomorrow, or will text you later in week, and they haven't of course. I feel like this is a new way to ghost without technically ghosting, as they are probably knowing that you wouldn't really follow up without sounding like a stalker. What are everyone's thoughts? Is this what people say these days to cut something off without actually doing it?
Well, no. If I heard you correctly, he reached out to you on a Saturday about going somewhere with you on a Thursday. You connected with him on a Thursday and you told him something about Saturday. And he said he had something that he was supposed to be doing in the morning. And you still wanted him to go out for drinks after that. Now, if I told you that I'm free on Thursday and you tell me come do something with you Saturday when I tell you that I have to be at work Sunday morning, then you say, well, don't worry about that. Come after that. you're showing that you don't really give a damn about my schedule. Uh, Truth, at that moment, there is no contacting you again. He didn't ghost you by making excuses and saying, I'll call you tomorrow. He told you, have fun with your event. That was the closest thing to a goodbye that you were going to get, because you're not, when a woman wants to be with a man, she will rearrange her schedule for him. When a man wants to be with a woman, he will rearrange his schedule for her. If I tell you that I got a commitment that I can't get out of, and you're not going to rearrange your schedule for me early on in the relationship, that shows a lack of interest. Now, since y'all are coming off of a dating site and y'all haven't really established a foundation, there is no room for commitment. There's no room for a second chance or anything to that effect. If you do not make it clear, hey, I understand that you're busy. I do really want to meet up with you. I have this concert thing. If you're not able to make it, can we schedule a different day that you are available so that I can come and meet with you? And go the extra mile and say, these are the days out of the week that I am available for the next week, and let them pick a day and time to show them that you are interested. If that's not what you're doing, if you're just closed, because a lot of times, ladies, y'all want the man to lead, y'all want the man to pick everything, y'all want the man to set up the whole shebang, put the whole responsibility on him, even though if he picks some shit like the Cheesecake Factory, you're going to complain about it. Collaboration with your partner is the key. Modern 2025 ladies, y'all want to be treated as equals. In order for y'all to be treated as equals, you have to behave as equals. By behaving as equals, you have to negotiate. Your schedule is important. His schedule is important too. Y'all don't necessarily have the same schedule. If I was trying to talk to somebody in my life right now, I work nights, they might work days. We have to figure out when we're going to meet up. Okay? Now, ghosting is a common practice in society right now, because there's so many people, everybody's at the touch of a finger. But the other thing you have to realize is that you're meeting on a dating app. The dating app has a message board that you only see from the dating app, unless you have push notifications activated for you to see the messages coming in on your phone so that you can go to the dating app. Until you guys start exchanging text messages directly from the phone line, you are not directly in his contact list. So that it requires effort. There are some dating apps that you don't even have to download onto your phone. You access it from your email. And for anybody who knows how much they don't access their emails, you would have to proactively go to your email, go to the link for the app, click the link, get logged in, then go to the message board, then scroll through the message boards to specifically find a specific person's communication. In that process, your attention can be redirected to a different profile. In that process, your motivation to follow up could be detached. And you also understand that since this person is not a dominant fixture in your life, the red flags that we ignore with in-person dating are huge red flags with social media dating, online dating. If a person is mildly unreliable, they're catastrophically unreliable. Everything's taken to the umpteenth degree. But fellas, I'm going to say that you got to have a little bit of patience. You got to have a little bit of patience. I think that women should take more control over dating than what they put in the man's world. Not because I'm not a masculine alpha man, but because, ladies, if the man is going to choose you primarily on first sight based on how you look, and then secondly, how you behave. You are going to choose the man based on his financial status based on the stuff that he has, how much debt he's holding. You're less likely going to care about how he treats you, but that should be one of the first things you look at. And because of this dynamic, since women have to accept the men, the women should be the ones leading the dynamic. And that's my observation, specifically because he's going to pay for you for the rest of his life if he's going to take up his masculine role as a protector and provider. So why is he applying to pay for your entire future? Why are you not applying for the man to pay for your entire future? The non-tangible efforts that women put into their men, emotional, physical, childbearing, organizing the house, stuff to that effect, those things are appreciative and equally valuable. But I'm not trying to hire a housekeeper, a nanny, and a personal assistant. Because again, that requires the female to fill out the application. A man is looking for a person that can cooperate with him to build something better. The female is usually looking for the security, financial comfort. Since we're going into this for two different reasons, and the men are less likely to say no. If the women lead, it would look a whole lot different in dating. And I'm not saying lead the whole time, ladies. I'm saying that you put your best efforts into convincing this man to commit to you so that he can take over financially and be the protector and provider that you're looking for. Dating would be a lot different. As long as you ladies are putting the ball in the man's court where he has to initiate the engagement, pay for that initiation, pay for everything that happens after that, pay for you for the entire dating field, then pay for the engagement, pay for the wedding, pay for you for the rest of your life after that. You're putting him in a constant position where he has to evaluate the return on his investment. But you're not providing an effort of return. So you're going to get quicker. You're going to get ghosted quicker because you're in a position where you're not showing him from the first 5 days, from the first 8 days. You're not showing him that you're willing to commit to the situation. So he does not have value in you. He barely knows your name. And you're not giving him a reason to value you because you just blew him off on Thursday. You talked to him on Saturday, blew him off on Thursday, offered something on the following Saturday that he wasn't okay with. And you were just like, whatever, I'll see you after. That's not what you need, right? Well, that's not what he needs, you know? So with that being said, you guys match up on these dating platforms. You want to meet each other in person. Exactly what I said. Find out when are they available, and then tell them what days out of the week you're available, and then ask them to select a day that is best for them for you to meet them. And then y'all take it from there. And you try your best out of every 5 days that y'all have to make sure that at least one of them is a mandatory non-reschedule. So something comes up some of the time, but you have to make it a habit that something's not always coming up all of the time. And I know that if you're one of those police officers on duty, doctor on duty, federal agent on duty that's always on call, it's a way of life kind of thing. I understand that. But you have to make that known going into your relationship that if you're the type of person that works on any kind of job where you are always on call when you are not at work, that person needs to know that from the first date, that I am not flaky, but I do prioritize my work over my personal life. And if I have to go to work, I have to end my date, but I will make that time up with you the next time I'm not at work. And he or she will understand that when you get off from work, whenever that is, you're coming straight back to me to pick up where we left off. Now, if you're okay with that type of relationship, y'all will make things work. If you're not okay with that type of relationship, knowing that going in, you know that this is not going to work because you don't have the availability that I need in a relationship. And that also saves you some time. So you're not getting ghosted as often because you're projecting your availability at the beginning of the relationship. All right, let's go ahead and check another one.
How can I at 22 get out of my relationship with my girlfriend who's 26 when I'm honestly terrified of her? All names in this story are fake. So, me and my girlfriend have been together for 2 years. I have had a really bad past with relationships that took bad turns that I won't get into. My girlfriend Kay was the girl who I honestly, though I'd marry someday. She's pretty inside and out, and she's honestly really nice to me, and she hasn't done anything that I've even though breaking up over until now. For the past few weeks, she was tilting her phone away, so I couldn't see the screen basically every time. This is weird for us, since she's big on transparency, and I tried talking to her about it, but she just got defensive and said something like, "I don't have to let you know everything about my life." Now, I understand this partly, because at the time I was thinking maybe she just had something that she was embarrassed about, and that I'll give her time. But it kept repeating, her keeping her screen out of sight, and her saying that she doesn't need to show me everything about her. Now, I'm not proud at all, and I honestly regret what I did next. I went through her phone. I know it's an invasion, but I just wanted to see if she was cheating, since I had tried every other option for her to admit it or whatever she was hiding. I didn't go through her photos. I went to her messages. One of her friends, they'll call her C, had been the most recent, and I opened the conversation, and I was disgusted at what I read. Kay was saying that she liked how I look like a minor, and that it's apparently so easy to control me, and that I was weak enough for her to be able to obey me. She said that all she had to do was act like she cared in order to have me do whatever she wants, and if I don't, she knew she would be able to overpower me. I almost threw up. I was disgusted. I honestly wish that she was cheating instead of this, and I know that the comment about me being weak is true, and that she is stronger. C was agreeing, and seemed completely fine, and even said that it was true and that she was jealous of not having someone like me under her own control. I closed the messages and I set her phone down and just sat in the darkness of the room for I don't know how long. I didn't want to sleep next to her, and now I'm honestly terrified of her, so I left. I drove out to a parking lot of a hotel and just slept in my car the best I could. Kay called me in the morning when I was not at the house. I got really scared when I remembered what she had said, and if I broke up with her now, I was scared that she would track me down. So I told her I went to go get us food and that it was going to be a surprise. I apologized to her later that day after I rushed and got breakfast from a fast food place to make my lie fit, and I felt like I was proving that I'm easy to control, but now I don't know what to do. I honestly don't know if leaving her is worth it. Even if she's acting like she cares, it feels real enough for me to want to stay. But at the same time, I'm scared of what she might do now because of what she said and the fact that she is stronger than me. I would just break up with her, but I'm scared of how she'll react and if I can physically get out of there. And she hasn't really done anything that I think I can call the cops for. And since I'm a man, I don't think the police would talk it too seriously anyways. I can't call a friend because I only know 3 people who live way too far away for them to be able to help me or protect me in this situation, and I'm honestly too weak and pathetic in order to fight back if she does anything when I try to leave. So, how can I safely get out of this relationship?
What the hell? Um, okay, I wasn't expecting that at all. You Okay, let's just start off right here. Look, first and foremost, ladies and gentlemen, do not go through your partner's cell phone for any reason. Intercepting any private communications that they have is not just an invasion of their privacy. You have some legal issues involved there. It is not a smart move to go through their phones. In your relationship is supposed to be built with trust in mind. If you have lost the trust in your partner, the relationship is over. So, when you get to the point in your relationship where you feel the need to go through your partner's phone and look at their messages or look in their social media DMs or whatever the case may be, checking their emails and going through their Google search history, you have ended the relationship. If you can't trust them to be on the up and up, then you can't stay in a relationship with them. Now, some people are going to say, oh, I don't want to be blindsided by an affair. Well, I understand that. But the problem is that if you're looking for the affair, you're only looking for reassurance to end the relationship. You're looking for that see I told you so to end the relationship, which means subconsciously you want to end this relationship. You just need an excuse to end the relationship. Don't go through your partner's phone. Now, since you've gone through your partner's phone and you found out this information, you are at a crossroads, because the same way obtaining information without a warrant is inadmissible in court, obtaining negative information from your partner's phone is inadmissible in your breakup. You are supposed to react. Well, you're supposed to not react to that. No reactions, no judgment, and as hard as it is to say, no resentment. You're going to harbor resentment for this. You are behaving differently now. I am baffled at the fact that you have become afraid of your girlfriend because she told somebody else in a private text message that she could kick your ass. And you thought about it and you realized, yeah, she probably could. But let me ask you a question. What kind of Ike and Tina relationship do you have that you're afraid to leave because you read a text message that she doesn't know that you read? If y'all are living in the same place, it depends on if she's paying for all of the bills herself or if you're paying for all the bills yourself. But if you want to get out of there, all you have to do is talk to the landlord, take yourself off the lease if you're on the lease, and then go and establish a lease somewhere else. Plain and simple. You don't have to tell her where you're going. You can wait till she goes to work, take everything that you want out of the house. Then when she gets back, you're gone. That's the safest way to move. You're afraid of how she's going to react to this. Well, if she spray paints your car and slashes your tires and busts out all your windshields because you left, restitution. If she's coming to your job and she's wilding out on your job, restraining order. But if she was communicating with a friend of hers because she's in a relationship that she's never been in before, where a guy is easily able to flex and bend at her will, and she is not taking advantage of that, that she is in the type of relationship with a guy that is not strong enough to beat on her, where she comes out of a relationship where she's been beat on before. She actually might be finally in a relationship where she's not being mistreated and there's no opportunity for her to be mistreated in the way that she used to be mistreated. And she's excited about that because now whatever relationship that she builds, she has the capabilities of being in control there. That conversation with her friend is technically none of your business. But since you made it your business, if you don't like what was said, bro, the only thing that you can do about that is leave, because the issue that you're going to have here is if you confront her about what you found out in the phone, that conversation will not be about what she said. It will be about what you did. And you will not address at all in that conversation what she said, because the entire conversation, no matter how many times you apologize for going through her phone and say, now back to what you said, no, fuck that. You went through my phone, invasion of privacy. I can't trust you anymore, blah, 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 blah. She might break up with you as soon as she finds out that you went through her phone. See what I'm saying? Because you went through her phone behind your back, which means that you knew her passwords, which means that you unlocked her phone without her permission, and you went in there and you went and found this. And if that's what you're willing to do early on in a relationship because of your insecurity, what will you do in this relationship 5 or 10 years down the line? Airbud trackers on the car and stuff to that effect? Pop-ups? What kind of stuff will you do? You got to understand, this is a two-way street. When you obtain knowledge that you wasn't supposed to obtain. And when I first heard what was going on, I immediately thought she was cheating, because, and she wasn't, but she was talking negatively about you to somebody else. But the fact is that if she has to hide her phone from you, whatever she's doing is not appropriate. And ladies, this is going to go both ways. If your partner cannot see exactly what you're doing on the phone while you are doing it, you are being deceitful in a relationship. And I understand that this also applies to surprise parties and surprise gifts and surprise whatever. You're being even if you're being deceitful for a noble cause, the fact is that if you are not allowing your partner to see what's going on freely, you're hiding something that warrants a level of deceit, that warrants a level of investigation, that ultimately damages the trust in a relationship. And even if it turns out to be a surprise party, surprise gift, surprise trip, surprise something, the understanding is that you damaged the trust to build the confidence that hopefully he's going to surprise me with something positive with his deceitful behavior. But I recognize that he's being strange right now. So it's not good to do that. Now, I know that some people like the thrill of being surprised. You know, you might as well at least do what you're doing in secret. And when they start saying, hey, what's going on there? It is a surprise for you. That way, everything you don't know about is part of the surprise, which gives them the reassurance that you're not doing anything unethical. Beyond that, don't do anything in front of your partner that requires you to hide your phone. Don't get up and walk out of the other room or walk into the other room to hold conversations or use your phone with your partner. If your common behavior is to not use your phone in front of your partner, then don't start using your phone in front of your partner. If your common practice is to always use your phone in front of your partner, don't start hiding your phone away from your partner. When you change your behavior, red flags come up. It's always a thing. But yeah, fella, the only thing I can tell you with that situation is to just leave. Wait till she goes to work, pack up everything of value, and then leave. You say that your friends are too far away to do anything about it, but that's not true. If you're moving out and you're going to schedule this where your friends are going to come on a day when your girl's going to be gone, the three of y'all can get together and take all of your stuff out. Now you got backup. You got witnesses that can video record her behavior patterns. And then y'all get in the vehicle and you leave. Don't take nothing that is hers. Don't take nothing that she bought for you. That way there's no complaints, but you take everything that's yours and you dip with it. That's the easiest way to go. If you're done with the relationship, it is best to leave. Because if you stay, oh yeah, you know, you're probably still getting the sex. She's probably still respecting you to some degree right now. But at some point, Your resentment is going to change this relationship. She don't have to do nothing wrong to you. What she said to her friend in confidence on her phone ruined the whole relationship once you found it. And when you start acting different, she's going to respond to your response to her text message that she don't know that you read. And that's what I'm telling you. So I'm not even going to recommend therapy on this one. But what I am going to say is, in your next relationship, don't go through your partner's phone. It ain't worth it. I don't care what they got. They could have an affair in that phone. They could have a murder in that phone. I don't care what they got going on in their phone. Don't go in there. Ladies, don't be using that excuse. Oh, I want to use your phone because it has better cameras on it. I'm gonna take photos, so that while the phone is unlocked, they take the photo, and then they're gonna go through your phone and go through your emails and text messages and everything like that while they're in your. No, because most relationships, I'm the kind of man, and I know that a lot of men that do the same, is that they make sure that their girl got the best phone that they can afford. So your phone should be better than his phone, because your phone get upgraded before my phone get upgraded. So if you ain't got a good enough camera, that's too bad. Take it on your phone, take it on the computer, Photoshop it, whatever you got to do, and then send me a copy. But no, you're not using my phone as a camera for your photo ops. Because truth, most of us old school men, we don't want our woman taking all these photos and posting herself on social media for other men to drool over. No matter how attractive she is, no matter how confident we are, we don't want our partner just out there all over the what you call it, all over the internet. No, it's enough for us to turn heads in public. We don't need to have people following our profile. You know what I mean? That's not what it's about. All right, let's go ahead and touch base. I think we got one or two more.
Is it too late? At 48 years old, I've been married for 19 years to my husband, who is 37 with kids age 17, 15, 5. Summary. We were planning on getting a divorce, but 2 weeks ago he had a change of heart, and I've already mourned the marriage. My husband doesn't manage stress well, and when he's stressed from work, he takes everything to heart. Meanwhile, I'm primary caretaker since he's busy with work or traveling. Sometimes, while juggling my own full-time job, managing kids, and home when he's away, I lose it. Standard argument about dumb stuff, at which point he says he wants a divorce. Repeat every 3 months or so, on and off for 11 years. No infidelity, no gambling. In the past, I have always viewed his divorce claims triggered by stress. This summer the threats escalated, and I started to believe him 6 months on and off. A roller coaster of divorce conversations, calm conversations, and in November, I just told him I wanted divorce. Calmly, and he agreed it was the right thing to do. We consulted lawyers and downloaded the forms that I filled out. I sent him his forms. 2 weeks ago he has a change of heart. It's been 2 weeks of changed behavior, but I have already mourned the marriage. Heart-wrenching pain from the summer where I had to tell myself he's not dead to ease the pain of losing him. Now, if he hugs me too long, I feel trapped and want to scream. I don't want to kiss him. Too much affection makes me cringe. I don't think about him, and I no longer feel comfortable in his embrace. I dream about dating other men. He's squarely in friend zone. I already girded myself to be strong for the family and myself in preparation of the divorce. I didn't want anything from him. Only child support that we agreed on. We talked about the details of the divorce agreement. We discussed waiting until after the holidays to finalize the paperwork with the lawyer and to complete within Q1 2026. He said he wasn't ready to process what was going on. Meanwhile, all this time, I never asked him to change. Stress happens. All I asked him is to not threaten divorce, if he didn't mean it. Each time it hurt me. I believe him now that it was what he wanted. Now that he realizes it feels like it's too late. Have others come back from this?
Well, yeah. Others do the one thing that y'all ain't did. Y'all have been married for 20 years and y'all ain't got no damn therapy. Y'all ain't had no couples counseling at all over the last 20 years. That's the first thing you do before you start separating. But uh so what I heard was that you said that situations happen and you blow up. I also heard that uh throughout these situations he threatens divorce. I think the issue that you're having from the man's perspective is that the man is using the divorce as a cry for help to get you to cooperate with his situation with being stressed at work, plus the stress that he's getting at home from you. You are frustrated and upset about whatever's going on at the house. You're the primary stay at home mom, probably got issues with the kids, and you're lashing out at him when he gets home from work. He's lashing out about divorce because he's stressed out about what's going on at work. He doesn't have a peaceful moment. You don't have a peaceful moment. Y'all need a vacation from them damn kids. Uh, the other thing is that there isn't a lot of communication between y'all. You've never asked for change. You just asked him not to talk about divorce if he's not serious. But he doesn't know what else to do because nothing is changing. You should have been asking for change. You should have been explaining to him everything that is not correct in the house. It's not just his fault or your fault. It is just the stuff that is not going the way you would like it to go in the house. And then have him do the same thing. Go over all of the things that's going on in his life because he's outside of the house that even if it's got nothing to do with her, that is not going right in his life so that the two of y'all can take y'all's concerns, put them all down on paper, and then evaluate how y'all can work together to eliminate these concerns. That will allow you guys to function better in your relationships. Now, you've mourned the marriage. Most women emotionally detach themselves in a relationship long before they make up their minds to leave the relationship, so that when a woman walks out of the relationship, she has just about healed from the breakup before the breakup even occurs. The men have to go through that phase. The men have to go through the detachment phase. Can you reconnect with your husband after you have emotionally detached with him? Yes, it happens all the time. It's been 20 years. You are going to have that thought to have affairs with other men, even if y'all wasn't having these fights, because who stays with one person for 30 years? Most marriages have at least one affair in it from one of y'all over 10 years time, 15 at best. So if you're 20 years in with no affairs on either side, y'all are doing good. Y'all could separate. I don't recommend separating and then starting to hook up with other people, because that's just going to finalize your divorce. Y'all could separate, take some time apart. After you've done the list that I said do, list all the complaints that you've got about the relationship, list all the complaints about his life that he's got going on, and then y'all discuss how y'all are going to work this out. Separate, live in a different place for a little while, and take a break from each other. Then come back together and try to see if y'all can work this stuff out. Do your couples therapy. Start proactively, both of you, putting in the effort to do something different than what was already done, and see if that works. If you have to put a timeline on it, at least in the United States, the legal standard is 12 months of attempts of trying to fix it before the divorce. So from the day that y'all decide we're going to get a divorce, which y'all said y'all are going to do it after the holidays, so that's going to be next week Monday. Technically, this week Friday, because the first is on Thursday, so the second is on Monday. But you might want to do it first thing Monday morning next week. That's when y'all are getting y'all's divorce. Now, instead of doing that, you could say starting in January of 2026, you are going to proactively put forth effort to get the divorce. I mean, to fix the marriage. Proactively put forth effort to fix the marriage. Now, throughout 2026, you might say, let's separate for January, maybe January and February, then come back together, do the couples therapy, and start working on all the complaints that we had from before. By December, if the relationship has not improved, come January, you finalize the divorce. Because part of your divorce packet will be all of the effort that y'all put into fixing the marriage, where you recognize that the marriage is not fixable in spite of the last 12 months worth of effort. But 20 years together, y'all need a break. And a break does not mean go sleep with other people outside of your marriage. A break means take some time apart. You can leave the kids with your husband so that you get a break from the kids. Y'all can leave the kids with grandma and grandpa so that and alternate with family members so that both of y'all can get a break from the kids. But y'all need a break. Then once you clear your heads, then y'all can come together and start trying to figure out how to make this work, if that's what you want to do. But if you don't want to try to fix it, the only thing you can do is get a divorce. But you can't say that you're fed up with no change when you made it clear that you did not want him to change. You just did not want him to threaten divorce. So if you don't want your husband to change, he needs change. That's why he's asking for the divorce. You proactively put forth the effort to find out what can you do from your end to relieve the stress on his end so that he doesn't have to keep asking for a divorce. If you take stress off of your husband's plate, y'all have been together 20 years, he should proactively take the stress of the kids off of your plate. Because that's your stressor. You a stay-at-home mom. You've got cooking, cleaning, diapers, laundry, all this other stuff going on. And you've got disruptive children on a regular basis. No matter how well y'all parent y'all children, the A+ behavior that y'all get to express in the streets is not the F- behavior that y'all got to deal with the kids start fighting each other in the house and not sharing toys and breaking things and playing indoors instead of outdoors and just wearing your nerves when you're trying to get you some sleep. And then just as soon as you clean up, they wake up and you tear it up and then you got to clean it up again. It's a double overtime job. I understand it. So all you need is a break. All he needs is a little bit of help. So if he can help you with the kids, take the kids off your hands so that you got more time to rest, and then you can put some effort into taking some of the stress off of his plate so that he can get some rest. I think that y'all might be able to recover from that. Because it's not that you did something wrong to him and it's not that he did something wrong to you. You're hurt because he keeps expressing that he doesn't want to be with you. And he's hurt because he does not have a place to vent his stress. And you know that he's stressed, but you're not doing anything about his stress. But you will give him the divorce, though. Ask yourself, what went wrong with your decision making in that exact moment? He's stressed and he's bringing that stress home. And you're blowing up on him. You're not willing to change that, but you're willing to give him the divorce. Why don't you give him a peaceful home? See if that fixes the problem. Because your only complaint here is that you don't want to keep being threatened with a divorce. So give him a peaceful home. See what happens. That's the last comment that we got for today. And there was 3 more. I'm glad I didn't squeeze those in. This was a thick week. Jesus, y'all had a lot to say. I really appreciate y'all throwing y'all comments out there. Tomorrow we're going to be talking about some stuff related to the tariffs that is going to change and help you guys with saving some extra money. So I want y'all to stay tuned. Make sure y'all like and subscribe. Use those notification buttons. Tuesday, we're going to be talking about some ways in real estate that we can benefit from using deeds. So I want you guys to come through with that. And sometime over the next day or two, I'm going to be putting up Wednesday so that we can figure out which country we're going to be investing in on Wednesday. Note, Monday, PSEC, Prospect Capital, is supposed to be sold because that's the ex-dividend date. And then we're going to be creeping into buying 2 harbors by the end of this week for the ex-dividend date on the 5th. So understanding that we may not have any trades on the 1st, which is in the middle of this week. We should be selling on the 30th, trying to buy either on the 31st or the 2nd, so that we are on the books by the end of business day on the 2nd, so that come the 5th, that we have 2 harbors. Now, I know that we usually sell 2 harbors and go straight into GlobalNet, and that's going to be the next thing that we're going to be trading into. So after the 5th, which should be around next week, Monday or Tuesday, we're going to be going into GlobalNet as the next stock of the month. And then I'll be able to give you guys more information on our dividend rotation strategy. Again, as I told you at the beginning of the hour, because we started about 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, which is 10 o'clock Central Standard Time, and we're live 7 nights a week. I've got the rest of the week up here, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. You'll see me putting up Wednesday and Sunday, either Monday or Tuesday of this week, so you'll see that up there. So, and then you have me starting to pick topics for the following week. So you should see the next 8 to 10 days up there. You have plenty of opportunity to hit the notification buttons on the episodes that you find the most important to you. I recommend that you come every day if possible, but if you can't, specific days that you can swing through, just swing through and let me know what's going on. Before we go, I'm going to say, ladies, as long as the situation doesn't make sense, I'm going to keep asking you ladies to make it make sense. So ladies, please make it make sense. And fellas, I give you guys this information to help you guys become higher value men, so you guys can proactively put forth the effort to change the things that are inside of your control and then navigate around the things that are outside of your control. Ladies, this information, while we're a male-driven podcast with a male's perspective, this information can benefit you to become higher value women as well. Being a high value individual is not just about having a larger quantity of income. It is about having a higher value personality, a higher value behavior pattern, a higher value existence all the way around. It's not just about the money. Your decision making is more valuable as well. So you too can proactively change the things that you can control and navigate around things that you cannot. Finding a partner with the same mentality, not necessarily the same expectations, but the same mentality of growth and improvement, makes a lot of things in life easier for you guys to grow together and improve together. So as we continue to work on this, I want you guys to make sure that you stay tuned, because New Year's resolution is for this channel to aid you guys in making yourselves more successful in both your personal life and your professional life. And I want you guys to start making change towards that in 2026. Whatever wasn't working in 2025, cut that shit out. You need to start working towards making your later greater. You're looking at new ways to approach the old conflicts and disagreements and dissatisfactions from 2025, because the stuff is still here. That's why you're not happy. We're going to find new ways to approach it. And if you guys got things that you're concerned about in your relationships in your life that you want to make better, by all means, put it into the comment section. I'll take a look. I go over all of the comments and I get back to you guys as soon as possible. And if it's the kind of comment topic that I could throw, I'll do a whole show about it and cover it for you. And in some situations, tag you in it. That way, you know what's going on when the show goes live. So I want to thank you guys for coming to This and That. I'm your host, Xander, where we talk about this, that, and everything in between. And I'll see you guys tomorrow night.
Higher ground. Used to chase validation, now I validate myself. Building inner strength, putting doubt upon the shelf. No more unnecessary drama, no more wasted time. Climbing higher, constantly making my own climb. Standing on higher ground where excellence is found. My potential knows no bounds, raising the bar, breaking ground. My network is my net worth. Choose your company wise. Surround yourself with eagles, not with sheep in disguise. Every interaction is a reflection of my brand. Quality over quantity, that's my personal command. I'm not landing on higher ground where excellence is found. My potential knows no bounds, raising the bar, breaking ground. I'm not just living, I'm manifesting my vision, cutting through limitations with surgical precision. My expectations are my compass, my respect is my shield to mediocrity and chaos. I will never I'm not just living, I'm manifesting my vision, cutting through limitations with surgical precision. My expectations are my compass, my respect is my shield to mediocrity and chaos. I will never yield.